I'm Fred Ogola. I'm a full-time faculty in Strathmore Business School. I'm the MBA Academic Director of the MBA programs in Strathmore. I am also the co-academic director of the Doing Business in Africa module, where we have our MBA students from IESE coming to do the Nairobi module as one of the international exchange programs. We started designing this program with the objective of ensuring that students from IESE with Western origin, which of course is one of the most international programs, really get immersed into how business is done in Africa and actually interact with our MBAs, also interact with the corporates. And the best way to do that was first to be introduced to how business is done in Africa in 1 week program, which is done by our lecturers and some of our associate fellows. At the same time, to really go into business and get a practical business problem and are forced to find the solutions to these problems and give recommendations to businesses and then see how the businesses respond. Of course, this is risky because some businesses are really doing well. So if you are asked to improve how they do things and you're only here for 1 week, that's a very hard call to make. But our students from IESE have really demonstrated that they can actually live to this task.
It has been a very interesting week. I think we've been exposed to a different range of speakers. I mean, we came in contact with people from telecom, from tourism, political, even the CEO of General Electric. And I think it has been very good because we could see the wide perspective of how business is done here in Kenya, and not only because some of them were representing a region. And then secondly, it was very good to interact with students that are studying here, their MBA at Strathmore Business School, and like that we could change experience, we could see how the business environment is working here, and I'm pretty sure that we will be in contact even after these 2 weeks are done.
The first thing I must say is, for someone that was coming from Africa, from Nigeria, this module really made me realize that there's still a lot about Africa and the rest of Africa that I still don't know about, and it's really been a very, very intense week. We did a deep dive into doing business in Africa, and we touched on almost all the sectors, at least the ones that matter: consumer, the consumer sector, the IT, the tech, the finance, the private equity, and it's been amazing. I think the organization has been fantastic. The mix of both the class lectures, the expert advisors that we've had around, really quality people, and also the field experience has been fantastic.
I think the course was a great experience. I think it was a good balance between practical experiences and case discussions, and we had the opportunity to see different sectors, different types of people working in Africa. I think 1 week is definitely not enough to understand such a diverse continent, but it was definitely a crash course on how to do business in Kenya in particular, and in general in Africa.
In all, I think the experience has been really enriching. We've learned so much. I like the combination of case studies. We've had some very inspiring speakers come in, and there's a lot of dynamism in the environment here, and despite coming from an emerging economy, I don't think I came with such high expectations. I thought I'll see a lot of things which are very similar to India, but no, there were a lot of things that surprised me. One of the big things that surprised me was how mobile payments is so widespread here and the norm over here, and I think that's mobile payments is something that a lot of countries have been struggling with, and making customers trust them, and Kenya has already jumped that step and already gotten onto it. At the same time, to see a lot of foreign entrepreneurs and a lot of foreign investors showing interest in the economy over here, as well as making a lot of investment.
What makes Kenya so important is that, one, is that the geographical location of Kenya is very ideal, and it can actually become as a hub. So traveling from Europe to to Kenya is not that a big deal, as opposed to some other countries whereby you have to come from another part to go back to Europe and then go back to Africa. But also look at Kenya's weather. You want to compare Kenya with Nigeria. Kenya is having one of the lovely weathers, and if you look at the location where Nairobi is located, you imagine that you are just less than an hour flight to the coast. you have, like, let's say a short drive to one of the biggest national parks around, like Nakuru, you call it Naivasha. So all this also just some very fantastic attractions that bring people here. But that is just on the tourist side. But on the business side, look, Kenya is hosting one of the UN bodies. Kenya is also hosting Google. Kenya has business as big as IBM around. So in technological advancement, Nairobi is having one of these hubs where students can actually come and learn. If you talk about multinationals that these students can have experience about, they are very good. But also look at the Kenyan entrepreneurial culture, which is growing very much, because if you look at these students, what is their needs? They are coming mostly to learn how can someone start a business from scratch in Africa and move, because their upbringing shows them that that is not possible. So when they come to learn how a foreigner, for example, from Spain, from UK, from the US, came here and started building network and built a business from scratch and grew it.
About the methodology, I think it was very well planned in the sense of combining lectures, bringing external speakers, and at the same time combine this with cases, which we discussed in class, and these exercises with the Strathmore Business School students, such as the negotiation exercise, which in total kind of gave more consistency to the whole program and made the learning experience much way better than what we expected.
It was so fantastic because we got to go to businesses, have businesses come to us, have entrepreneurs from North America talk about their experience here, but at the same time have Kenyans talk about their experience in multinationals. And I think just the diversity in general is really what you need in a week course to really learn about how to do business in Africa.
I think first thing, like I mentioned, which struck me a lot, is about the personal relationship, because for a lot of people, maybe from Europe or from developed countries, they are very focused a lot in efficiencies, in economic profit. But I think it's very something interesting here that people put people actually the first value. That if you're late for a meeting, people care a lot about what happened to you. If something goes wrong, maybe we should care you more than the meeting.
Kenya is very friendly, that it's everything about relationships, that it's very important not to search for business with profit at all stakes, that it's very important to see the impact you can have in the communities here, and that it's very important to build relationships, and that it's not only a business relationship, but it's also a trust relationship. So this is a little bit different from the European environment, but I think this was my biggest learning this week.
So I come from India, which is also a very people-oriented economy. That said, I have been absolutely really surprised and really pleased with the amount of hospitality that Africa has shown us. People are very friendly, but at the same time, I guess even in business, that's expected that you form that relationship, you establish that trust before going forward. So I think the business is not as transactional as it is in a lot of the Western world, and I think that for me was the biggest takeaway.
It's been mind-blowing.
Amazing, it's just amazing.
Eye-opening, I would say.
Incredible.